Hello, Fredak here. Fred ACC, all one word. Alrighty, it is Monday, April the 28th. Yes, it is Monday, April the 28th. It's about 2 p.m. East Coast time. XRP is at about $2.27. $2.27. That's the XRP. First up, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. And I'm coming to you from the 2002 Toyota Sienna. This is exactly where I want to be. The Colonel, my wife, she's like, donate that thing to the homeless. She don't get it. Listen, if there's a huge dent in it or if thing's on fire, I don't care all that much about it. It's not the end of the world to me. But neither here nor there. Alrighty, so I want to thank you all for being here today. First up, as always, Fredak tries to bring things in your direction that you don't hear from all the other talking heads. And Fredak actually has notes. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. First up, scammers. Warning, 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 Will Robinson. That's dating me. For those of you who do remember the warning, warning. It was the robot, I think, lost in space. Very odd thing about that show was that the bumbling Dr. Smith, or whatever he was on that show, in the original pilot of it, he was trying to blow all of them up and get rid of them all with a bomb on board. And I might be mistaken on that. By all means, you always got to check everything out, including Fredak. Can't tell you how important it is to do your homework. Knowledge is power. Alrighty, let's get to it. So it is Monday, April 28th, about 2 p.m. East Coast time. XRP sitting at about $2.27. I personally think it's on the verge of a breakout. Based on what? There's just so many things swirling around out there. Swirling around in my head. One of them is the extremely low volume for something that has like 59 billion of them out there. Billion with a B. To see the numbers that slush around over there, not a lot going on. I did spot that there's a 2X ETF that's out there who's running it. I'm not sure. The symbol is XXRP. It's somewhere around $32. If I can develop a way to have an understanding of how you and I can have an advantage trying to day trade this thing for short-term moves, I will share that with you. Right now, I have not found numerous things to connect a correlation to. Possibly the DXY, the dollar index, possibly, but I need numerous things. I have to feel as though I have all the duck eggs on my side of the ledger that I'm going to make money 9 out of 10 times. Alrighty, let's go forward here. Beware of the scammers. Warning, Will Robinson. Warning! The scammers are out there in droves. Everybody's looking for your money. You definitely don't want to get sandbagged out of your XRP or anything else that you own by scammers. This is just a Fredak theory of mine. If I wager $10 on a sporting event or on a horse race or the stock market and I lose my money somewhat legitimately, I can accept that. If I just lose $10 out of my pocket out on the street somewhere, that doesn't go over well with me because I had no chance of turning my $10 into a profit. That's a complete loss. So you definitely don't want to get scammed. It can definitely happen. Most of us, we live and we learn, sadly, the hard way. I've always been a believer, another analogy of mine, if I'm walking down a big city street, New York City street, it's drizzling, raining, ground is wet. 100 feet in front of me, there's two people walking, and one of them steps on a puddle, and they go all the way down above their ankle. Their shoe is soaked. Oh, they're shaking their foot. It's better that I learned that puddle went down a good 10, 11, 12 inches into a hole that was filled with water rather than me stepping in it. Sorry about that person's foot, but Better for me to have learned from their unfortunate miscue than from my foot getting drenched. Alrighty, so back to where we were. Let's see. I'm going to be posting a lot of different life lessons, stuff about interest, having an understanding of inflation. I've come to realize that there's a lot out there that the average person might not be aware of. And once again, I hope you subscribe, and all of you who have subscribed, I hope you enjoy the content. All you have to do is listen. It's free. Free tutorial. I have no skin in the game for any of this. I'm not getting anything from it except the enjoyment of the comments that people leave, and I do enjoy them. Even the ones that are like, Fredak, when I become a multimillionaire, I'm going to buy you a big shaver or a package of new t-shirts or something like that. Great stuff. Love it. At any rate, as I've said from many of my postings, I will never sell your soul nor my soul. There's nothing down below. If there ever is, I will be up front and tell you guys what it's all about. And if I had the subscriber base, because there's strength in numbers. If I had 300,000 subscribers, I could probably go to some crypto firm and say, look, give us this or give us that. Give my people this or that. And they would certainly think about it. Another analogy. Let's say I have a cleaning business. I clean houses or businesses. And I have 4 people working for me. If I go to the governor and I tell them, look, if you don't give me some kind of a tax break, I'm going to take me and my 4 employees and we're going to move to Kalamazoo. Not that Kalamazoo is a bad place, but a great place. Or Timbuktu, or whatever you want to fill with it. The governor's going to say, well, best of luck to you. Really can't do much for you. But if something like Amazon says, look, Governor, I'm thinking about opening up a complex, a distribution center. I'll be employing over 2,000 employees there. What kind of a deal can you give me? Oh, they're going to give them tax abatements, tax advantages, all different things. Pay no taxes for 10 years or forever or whatever it might be. That's the power of numbers. And I get it. That's kind of what you're supposed to be doing, I guess. So for me, I want to look for something that gives me some kind of a mathematical advantage. That's what I'm looking for. If and when the ETFs take over, and it's still going to bring in massive amounts of people. And I've spoken about this in the past. With XRP, the saturation level of how many people know of it and about it is very minimal. Sure, most people out there, if you go on a subway, if you walk down a major city street and you ask strangers about, have you ever heard of Bitcoin? Most of them have. Do they understand much about it? Probably not, and that's okay. But they've actually heard of it because of the meteoric rise that it's had. Alrighty, I'm bouncing around a bit. But the point that I'm starting to make is that the levels of baloney that are spewing out there are incredible. I see people out there talking heads and are like, I spoke to Brad. I had dinner with him. Trump said blah, 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 blah. It is unbelievable, the stuff that spews out there. My personal thinking is that there's a strong wave that's coming, and that's going to be based on the volume increases. Why do I think that? Because there's so many people out there that want to get in the game. They love the action. Listen, how many of us don't? I mean, that's part of the interesting thing about XRP is that Christmas, Thanksgiving, 3 in the morning, it's fluttering around. Sure, it's going to be probably, movements are going to be mitigated upon some kind of news or the herd running in a certain direction, but yep. Okay, so let's go, let's take all this a little bit further. Can go on and on and on with all the different talking heads that are promising this and that. They're all looking for subscribers to make money from their YouTube channel, whatever. I'm looking to make a lot of money from my XRP. That's what I'm looking for. And some other different things. And I'm going to try to share a lot of that with you guys. But okay, so, and I don't mean this to be rude to you folks, but are you people not too bright or stupid? Hello? Why did why did Ethereum move up so much? Why Bitcoin? Why do these things move up? Why? Because we all made it happen. That's why. And when everybody's making something happen, more and more people pile onto it. So what will make XRP happen? What? Hello, it's going to be ETFs, regulation. And it's going to be something else. It's going to be the big money. They're going to want to stir all the coals, move everything around, get everybody hopped up. Why? Because they make money on these things. That's why. And it's going to be game change. And I'm going to post when it's game change. I'm probably going to be a little late to the party with that already. But hopefully you own yours. Because when I post game change, that price is already going to be running. There's going to be waves. You got to be expecting that. Got to expect waves up and waves down. Not going to be an easy ride to multimillionaire. Never is. Nope, there's no free lunch. All right, what do you got here? No one, and I tell you, no one wants to miss out on this. Nobody. The ETFs, they don't want to miss out. And they're already starting to line up. That's what I'm seeing. It's only a question of time. And I don't think, my personal opinion is, I don't think the time factor is going to be all that long. Because through technology, the way things seem to speed up more and more, 120 years ago, if there was a major incident somewhere around the world, it took weeks for the newspapers to get that information over the telegraph line and have it reported, disseminated out to the general public. In this day and age, if a cruise liner sinks in the Indian Ocean, you probably know about it in 10, 12, 15 minutes, if not sooner. And that whole process of everything expediting is exactly what I think is going to start to happen here with the crypto world. It's going to have a snowball effect. It is inevitable. It's inevitable. In my opinion, it is inevitable. Okay, but why is XRP not on everybody's radar? Why? Because the big money does not want, they don't want you and they don't want people on the game yet. They're not ready for it. When they are, they'll spring the latch. Think about it. But not right now. Hasn't happened yet, but when it happens, do you think they're going to twiddle their thumbs? Let's do some twiddling. Twiddle, twiddle, twiddle. No way, because while they're twiddling, somebody else is jumping in and grabbing the lion's share. And once you start to get brand name recognition, let's just go with toothpaste. How many people are going to buy Zodium toothpaste compared to Colgate? They're going to go with Colgate or Crest because why? Think about soft drinks. I think about beverages. The brand names are the ones that people are going to gravitate to. Why? Because they know that name. So everybody's going to want to be in on this stuff. They're not going to twiddle their thumbs. But they, right now, hello, they don't want you and I in this. So that kind of tells me something. You don't want me in on it. Then I want in. If I go play somewhere, you can't come in this place. Really? In my head, I'm thinking, I want to go in that place. I want to know what's going on. And that's the exact reason why people should want to be in this XRP. Alrighty, I've warned people about the scammers. You got to be careful with the scammers because they are abundant. Warning, Will Robinson, warning. Okay, going to have numerous postings. But the XRP game change is the one that you want to look for because that means we're on our way running. And if you asked me a month ago, I would have thought it like $2.93. You're going above $3. You're on your way to new highs. Sure, it's a very strong potential to go higher once it goes up to the all-time high and breaks through that level. Why? Because so many people are going to pile into it. That's just my opinion. Okay. But I want you all, I hope that all of you who are in the XRP do understand that there's a certain amount of endurance. Expect to endure. There's going to be pain. There's going to be waves up and down. And if you listen to all the dribble that's out there, XRP to 10,000, XRP to 10 million. You're going to get burned out psychologically, and you're going to become susceptible to pairing off a lot of your stuff that you own. And that's okay, because if it's on a run up to $6, $7, $8, $10, that's fine. But how are you going to be feeling if it's like $86 or breaking 100? You're like, holy Jesus, I own a boatload of that stuff. My gosh, where I would be right now. Nobody wants to be looking at the ifs over their shoulder. If this and if that. So that's my general feeling, is just be careful out there. There are so many different things that are coming in the near future. To me, that all points to one word: opportunity. That's what I'm going to name this one. XRP Opportunity with the date. Opportunity. There's ISO 2020 ETFs. What else have we got over here? The Fed chairman coming in. The potential for the U.S. to monetize. Ripple, the main company behind XRP, Ripple, which might actually gift up a whole bunch of XRP. And do you think the smart people, and they are smart people, it's part of the reason why I'm in this thing, is that I respect the business acumen of the people that are running the Ripple company. I strongly respect them. Don't you think that they're thinking about stuff like this? How can we generate excitement? Do they really need much excitement? I think they've been low-key on it. I think, and I don't know what the reasoning is, but I don't think they want this thing to just run like mad. I don't know why. If they have 40 billion of them, it goes to $10. Isn't that like, I don't know, trillions of dollars in their pocket? But it just doesn't seem that way. Another thing to think about with all the stuff that I'm blabbling to you. And again, I love the comments. I hope you subscribe. Knowledge is power, as always. And I'm dating myself a little bit, but in the Star Trek world, beam me up, Scotty. Scotty was able to beam people from here to there to everywhere. Fine. Let's go off on a tangent of stupidity. Let's just say the Beam Me Up Scotty actually existed. Somehow they're able to do that. So you could beam people from downtown New York City to downtown London in 2-3 seconds. And you just beamed them on over there. Do you think many people would be taking plane rides across the ocean for 5, 6, 7 hours, whatever it takes? Heck no. That's going to take off, no pun intended, but it's going to take off quickly. Well, that's what I perceive happening once the floodgates get open for the functionality of XRP, XYZ, whatever it might end up being, if, when. To me, it's only a question of time. And I would have expected by now for some of the old stodgy companies that transfer money, like a SWIFT, Western Union, companies like that, to be trying to form some kind of an alliance with the New World Order. Because if you really think about it, that's kind of what took down companies like Kodak. They used to manufacture film, all the solutions for printing, all the prints, all the different stuff. But if you don't evolve with the times, you get left behind. And you'd have to kind of think one way or another, whether it's XRP or XYZ or whatever it's going to be. Me personally, I think it's going to be XRP. And I think any little twinge of news, we're heading on up. And I'm changing those numbers that I used to think, that I think anything above $2.48, if this breaks $2.48, it's going higher. That's the kind of thing on a short-term trade, probably if it's trending and it's on like a midweek day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Time doesn't seem to be a major variable. Is there something to the waves that occur? Because a lot of XRP is supposedly being owned by South Korea. They're in a different time zone. So if a person is able to derive some kind of a consistent formula that 9 out of 10, 19 out of 20 times that this occurs, then it becomes profitable, and you have a sampling with a large enough size. And I'll give you an example of sampling. If you did a poll on, I don't know, let's just go, rather than go political, let's just go with the New York Yankees. So if you ask 5 people what's the best team in, are the New York Yankees the best team in baseball? And if you go to a place that's far away from New York, and the crowd that you have, and you ask 5 people, and one of them says yes, the Yankees, and 4 of them say no, sure, you could say, well, we did a survey, and 20% of the people that we polled believe the Yankees are the best team in baseball. And if you go to the Bronx in New York and you ask strangers walking down the street, and you only ask 5 of them, you might get 4 of them that say, yes, absolutely, the Yankees are the best. And then you could say, a person could use that example for their statistical analysis. 80% of the people polled. Depends on where the polling is done and how many you polled. It's a much stronger correlation between if you did a polling of 50,000 people and 40,000 of them said, yes, the Yankees are the best team in baseball. That's also 80%. Or if you only polled 5 people and 4 of them said, it's not as strong. It's only 4 out of 5. Small sampling, percentages can be skewed. But with all that being said, I'm going to be making some postings out there to try to give a little bit of an understanding of inflation, how that works. The economic collapse, I've spoken about that. I think there's more pain to come. And I think hopefully my subscribers are preparing for these things, because those who are prepared, if they have the time factor, 10, 12, 15 years from now, you'll be pretty doggone rich. Alrighty, with all that being said, enough of the notes, enough of all that. I thank you all for being here. I hope you subscribe. Any comments you might have, please put them down below. Watch out for numerous postings. I'm going to be trying to post some numerous things on here. Inflation, how to negotiate a great deal. A lot of different stuff. If it doesn't work for you, you listen to it anyway. It's free tutorials, in one ear, out the other, garbage in, garbage out. Alrighty, my friends, may all your days be winning ones. Let's just wait for this XRP to light the fuse. Boom, and there she goes. I think it's ready to go. Alrighty, thank you all for being here. May all your days be winning ones. Another week for the Kentucky Derby.